Welcome, Hard Knocks. KK the Destroyer here, coming at you live from the ESPN 8 studio, the Ocho. And with me, as always, is Greg. Say hi.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And then we got Slick in the house,
Hey, how's it going, guys?
as well as Mikey.
What up?
So, second podcast in the week. I think we all couldn't really contain our excitement to get going. Lots of things have been happening in this week. We are killing the advance schedule. Like, I don't even bother posting when we advance next because I believe it to be folly. Like, there's no way to figure out when we're going to advance. It's been, like, I think 24 to 36 hours at this point.
It's great. It's fabulous. I love it.
Guys, I don't see the stream.
I'm working on it. You guys got to chill. It says I'm live.
You guys got it.
just chill. Let me make sure I'm in the right spot.
YouTube is under EA servers right now.
There we go. Yeah, so we're up. It's there.
Looks like it's up. Yep.
Okay. So, yeah, we're killing it. How's everybody feel?
Everything's good, man. League's moving fast. Games are getting played. We had some good games the past 30 weeks.
We had
I
a
feel
couple commentaries that happened, I think. What's everybody think about the Jags? He's got his own webcam up, and he commentates his own games. That's kind of fun.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I was on
We
there a
need more
couple
of that.
times.
I know.
Yeah,
I
it's
was listening.
Pretty unique.
Yep. It wasn't too bad. The delay wasn't terrible for you kind of making comments on what was happening in the game. So that wasn't too bad. So he brought up
Yeah,
some...
I had to kind of, make comments, kind of like, just make general comments as opposed to trying to commentate the plays. 'Cause
Correct.
obviously, there was a delay.
And what is up with throwing into double coverage like 60 yards down the field, Slick?
I mean, you gotta take your chances, bro. 6'4" wide receivers. That's what you pay the money for.
That's right. Who was it?
Preston Williams, the guy, Baby T.O. Baby T.O.
Baby T.O. You calling it now?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, first segment I think we're going to kick it off with is trades because that's kind of been a big mover and shaker in the league. Mikey, you want to pick out a specific trade that you want to kind of talk about?
I mean, should I start with the big one? The obvious big one?
We might as well address the elephant in the room. Sure, why not?
Let's do that. Let's do the Chargers making all kinds of move. So far, trading Keenan Allen away to the Patriots to coach for a number one.
Which, what do you think about that trade to start with? Like, I think that's pretty good value for him. Isn't Keenan Allen like 28 years old or something like that?
He is. He's 28. And coach had no weapons with the Pats. So he needed to make some moves.
Evan cries hearing you say that.
Yeah. He is trading almost all of his assets. So I'm curious to see how that's going to play down the line. But it's a good move. I just played him, too. So he definitely threw to him quite a bit.
Yeah, Keenan Allen is. I mean, he's a really good receiver. I just think he's kind of too slow, and that the biggest problem with Madden is slow receivers just aren't like they're not given enough to make them stand out in a great way versus Tyreek Hill and the other guys. So they don't really serve that much of a purpose. I mean, they're still good.
Yeah, he has max security as his X factor, and then he has mid-out elite and outside of Prentice. So he's got like route running, abilities.
So I mean, like Slick, what do you think about that? Like a slow receiver. I mean, how do you think they translate in Madden?
I mean, I think they can work in situational plays. I'm definitely not putting them out on the boundary. I'll putting them in the slot. Yeah, I think especially with the way Madden's being made now, it depends on what abilities they have, and his abilities are good. I mean, they're not horrible.
Right. Greg, what do you think? Oh, sorry, Slick. Keep going.
No, I just have a hard time putting any. If you have to be at least a 90 for me to be on the field. If
That's
not,
what I think, right? 90 speed. I mean, you got to at least have that. What about you, Greg?
I believe.
You don't need 90 speed. I mean,
He's 89,
88s
yeah.
and 89s work. If you're under 88 speed, you've got no business being a wide receiver in this game, though.
Yeah,
So,
go ahead,
yeah,
Mike.
Go ahead.
No, go for it.
No, I was gonna say we didn't plan to do this, but I figured why not? Who won this trade in your guys' opinion?
I think the Chargers did. I mean, the Patriots, I can't imagine that they're going to finish well in the season. I don't know what the Patriots' record is right now.
0-4, I think.
0-4. So at that rate,
I make it a rule not to trade first for 27 and above year old players.
Right.
But Chargers isn't really looking to pass anyway, so that kind of helps them out. It's a smart move for him. Let him load up, maybe his offensive line or different holes he has on his team. And then it helps Coach because his
Coach needed something, right?
You think maybe you flustered him a little bit, Slick, on week 1, and he kind of just, lost his patience and was just played so poorly against you that he just made
I wouldn't say I did all that, but he played week 1 and he realized I need to make a move. There's no way. There's no way I'm playing another slow with these slow wide receivers.
All right, so
moving on.
What about move on to the next trade?
Yeah, he traded Desmond King, cornerback, to the Falcons for a number 1.
How is that possible? Desmond is not good, is he?
Desmond, I'm going to go to Desmond right now.
Oh, Desmond King is not bad.
He's 87 with 88 speed, 91 excel.
Yeah, he's not.
But what is this?
I'm a huge Hawkeye fan. He's a Hawkeye.
He's 25 years old.
Yeah.
He's a star development, though. He's not even a superstar.
And where did he get traded
won
to?
That trade, easily.
The Falcons.
Who also don't have a win, if I remember right.
They have one win.
He's killing that, but isn't Desmond King's coverage really good? Yeah, I mean, he's got 85 man, 91 zone. He's got 90 awareness. His change of direction is 93. He's got 94 agility.
I mean, 25, right, or 24?
Yeah, he's 25. I would say they both won this trade. I mean, I would theoretically give a first for Desmond King. I realize 88 speed's not great, but I think his coverage stats more than make up for it. And last year he played like a beast. So I think it's a win-win.
Good old Iowa boy.
So and then the final move that was just made today, Chargers traded Melvin Ingram for a 2nd and a 4th round pick to the Vikings.
I mean, once again, I think Melvin Ingram, he's definite value for the Vikings because he's going to be good this year and probably a little bit next year. I think he's going to fall off because isn't he 31 years old?
Yeah.
He's fairly old, but he's still a stud. He's got great pass rush attributes. And then on the Chargers side of it, I mean, getting a 2nd and a 4th, I mean, I don't really care about the 4th, but the 2nd is good. Plus, I'm sure he was kind of expensive, and it's not like he was going to sign him again anyway, so I think they both came away with what they needed.
Yeah, so just to wrap it up on the Chargers move so far, he's literally picked up 2 first-rounders, a 2nd rounder, and a 4th for what you can argue is, 3 players, Keenan Allen, Desmond King, and Melvin Ingram, who he did not see as a part of the future with the Chargers. So,
yeah,
some moves right there.
For sure.
All right, moving on. We got the Bucks. Bucks been balling lately, and he just picked up Micah Hyde from the Bills.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting trade. What do you think, Greg?
Yeah, I'm just learning about it right now. I'm not too in the loop with the trade.
So
Micah
it was
Hyde. I love Micah Hyde.
It was Micah Hyde, and the Bucks sent a 1st and a future 2nd, and then the Bills sent him and a 3rd back. Slick has something to say. Tell me, Slick.
Does anyone know? I mean, Micah Hyde's kind of slow and kind of old.
He's a 90 speed free safety. That's not.
How old is he?
28.
30 by now. He's a hot
28. Yeah,
that's my guess.
He's old, so he's a 1st and a 2nd for a guy that's probably gonna fall off in a year or 2.
He's 29 years old.
29 years old. First and a second for a nut. 29-year-old.
But
It's a
with the
bit
way the
much.
Bucks are playing, though, this is a move to dominate the division and come out and try to win a Super Bowl or two.
It could be like a win it this year type thing, you know.
That's exactly what I thought when I saw this trade, because I agree with Slick. I'm like looking at that, I'm going, you're going to give up a first round pick and a future second for a 29-year-old guy? Yeah, Micah's good. But that is the first thing that I thought of as soon as I looked at it. I'm like, the Bucks are, 3-0 at the time, now 4-0. They're looking to try to really rally this roster, make it super strong for a playoff run. I think that's the only reason you make that trade, because a future second, that makes me want to puke.
There's only one person to blame for this. It's Manny. Like, you couldn't have just beat him, and just now he's feeling himself. Like, he's calling every opponent out. Like, he actually thinks he's gonna go to the Super Bowl. He's not. Like,
bro. Today he's playing the Chargers, and he's beating him 28-6. Similar situation to KK and Nick, and the game froze in the third quarter. Okay, almost at the end of the third quarter, he literally tells him, "No, we're starting from 0-0," and ends up beating him 35-7. I mean, he okay, you could say he's feeling himself, but he is definitely showing up.
I mean, look who he's playing. He's playing Ilstein. Like, I mean, if he's playing like a top 5 player in the league, he's not restarting that at all. I'm putting 100 on that. Like, it's not even close.
Oh man, that's hot. But yeah, it's a good trade. I mean, well, for what it is, I think there's reasons to make the trade. So moving on.
Yeah, next one that I had here was we got Manny making a move, trading a first rounder for Zach Ertz.
That's huge.
Zach isn't young either, right? He's 29.
No, he's 29 years old.
He's 29. I mean, he'll lose some speed, but I think he does it mostly for that tight end apprentice ability. I'm pretty sure that's what he has.
I'm looking
Manny
at
drafts
him.
well anyway. He doesn't really need it first anyway. Like, he always finds gems later in the draft anyway.
And he's going to... Typically, you think Manny's going to be drafting very late. So you assume that his first is like a second, but... I mean...
And tight ends, usually they last a little bit longer, too, you know.
Dang, though. He's only 82 speed, though. Like, that's
He's slow. I'm telling you, he's doing it for the ability. Like,
yeah.
Tight end apprentice. And he catches everything. Like, he catches... If you need a bailout, just throw it at Ertz, and that's what he's there for, really. Like, he's not trying to throw a vert down the field, trying to outbeat the linebacker or the sub-linebacker.
Yeah, he's just looking for those first down conversions. He gets 4 additional hot routes during pre-play adjustment, so that makes sense. But, Greg, what do you think about that trade when you saw it?
I thought he overpaid a little bit. I mean, Ertz is good, but like Slick said, I mean, he's going to use him there. He's going to be like the blanket, like the emergency, the bailout if nothing down the field's open. So, I mean, I do think he overpaid a little bit, but it's a good trade in general.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like giving up the first for it, but, it is what it is. I'm sure Manny's not going to get hurt doing it, so I think it'll be fine. So moving on.
Yeah, and the last one that I had here was, I mean, the steal of the year, I would say, and that would be.
What are you talking about?
The football team being gifted Jalen Ramsey for God knows what. I mean, what happened?
Yeah, I mean,
I want to hear how this is where the league gets to hear how the approach of the negotiation was. Like, what was the opening line to that?
The opening line was, hey, I didn't realize you were willing to trade Ramsey. Why don't you look at my roster and tell me what you think? And he came back to me. He's like, well, what about these 3 players for Ramsey? And I'm like, I don't know if I can really go that way. Let me think about it. I mean, I got to check him out first. And I waited and I waited. And then I'm like, yeah, I think I could do that trade. I didn't want to seem overly eager. And to be honest, I wasn't sure that it would even be approved. So, but I thought, you know what, it's a good trade. I mean, it's close. But I wouldn't be surprised if somebody said, hey, you need to throw something in to make this trade a little better or whatnot. And, I was like, well, let's send it to the committee and let's see what happens. And they approved it. So I think it was a good steal on my part. But then again, I mean, he gets 3 really solid pieces. Fabian is really fast. And in this game, I think speedy corners make up for a lot of coverage that they may not have. I wasn't thrilled about giving him away, but I mean, I'm getting Ramsey back, so like, what do I care? And then, let's see, who was the other guy? It was my linebacker, I forget. He was so important to me, and Reuben Foster,
So,
who's solid but older. I mean, he's like 26, but very good, and I liked him. What were you going to say, Greg?
I said you called him old at 26. Now I really feel old.
Yeah.
So the only question I have, KK, is you got Jalen, right? You acquired him. It was a really nice trade. Have you got a chance to sit down and ask him what the hell happened during his first game on a 45-10 loss to Johnny and the Cardinals?
I did not have him for that game. I had him for Nick's game.
No, you had him that game. I just looked it up.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
No, because it'll show when you trade players in Madden. It'll show that they're on your team, even if you don't have them there yet. It does that.
He had 2 tackles.
No, I'm saying he might have.
From the previous
it's going to show
game.
the stats for whatever game he played that week. He may not have had it.
Yeah, because I'm almost positive I didn't have him. But I'll tell you right now that I don't know that having him on the field would have mattered that much, because in my game against Nick, I don't know that he did that much. I went to coach adjustments, had him playing his best overall receiver, which is Odell Beckham. And it's not like Beckham had that many catches, but it's just he was winning against Ramsey, where I thought, Ramsey would put up more of a fight. And so in my first game having him, I was very disappointed. And, I was calling man coverage. I was calling a lot of press. And because at one point I had him in the zone, and it said he would dominate man press situations. And in that area, maybe he didn't throw to him and he threw to somebody else, so maybe he did his job. But I didn't notice him. He didn't make a big play for me that I was like, oh yeah, that I can't wait, for him to play more. But that could be partly me not using him correctly. I spent some time in practice mode and did some things, so I feel like I have a better idea of how I want my defense to work going forward. But yeah, I would say I was underwhelmed with my first game with Ramsey, and we're just moving on to Baltimore. We're not going to talk about that game against the Cardinals.
Yeah, that's all I got for trades, though.
So I had a couple more to talk about for the trades, since we're talking about me at this point. The Apke trade. So I had Bossman in my DMs, the Jags owner, right when we started. I want Apke, and then I had a couple other people.
He gets him in every league. He goes after him in every league.
Does he? And I know he's good. I mean, I saw that. I went and looked at him immediately because I've seen his name thrown around before, and so I wanted to see what he had to offer. And let's see, I'm trying to get to the Jags here. But looking at him, my reasoning was he's 25 years old, I think. Let's see, he's strong safety for him. Yeah, he's 25, and he's got crazy good speed and all that stuff. And I understand his usage, but I thought he's not going to get that much better, and he's just a user player. So I figured if I could get a decent value for him, I was willing to trade him, because I think I could probably get somebody else, that's maybe comparable there. So that's why I was willing to do it. What do you guys think about Apke for a second?
I mean, he uses them a lot. I just watched the game. He had 2 interceptions. He had the game-sealing interception with Apke against Jern just now. It was in the end zone. So he definitely, at least this last game, the game against Slick, I think Slick kind of, he didn't make any mistakes towards Apke, or he didn't kind of force it that way at all. But against Jern, he definitely balled out with him. He was all over the field.
Yeah, I think Jern might be a little butthurt about Apke right now. I don't think it's not made for TV phrases right there, so I'll leave that one to the chat. But, Greg, what do you think? You think it was a mistake?
I don't think it was a mistake. I think it's a good move, though. If you had somebody and you weren't going to use him, it's good to get something out of him because I don't think he's going to go up that much in terms of. He's not going to become like an 85, 90 overall player.
Yeah,
you don't need him to be that high if he's going to be your main user, especially him. Like Mikey said, he uses him a lot. That's an understatement because that's all he uses.
Yeah.
He doesn't use the linebacker. He doesn't use the slot corner, or he doesn't go jewels and use the boundary corner. He uses strictly.
You can take advantage of that then if you know who he's on every single time.
It's 94 speed, 94 XL, 95 XL. Like he covers up a lot of ground.
Run those crossers, baby. Get him mixing his man up.
And see, this is why
he can only stick one person with the way the user works this year. If you're running crossers, he's got to pick one, unless he can cover both of them with good CPU.
He's also utilizing the drop zones really good with him too.
Yeah, this is why I. Oh shoot! Greg had mentioned something that I was gonna jump on, but oh yeah, this is why I was trying to get a first for him because I knew his value in a Madden League for a user player of his stats. He's worth a lot, and I think Manny was like, "Oh, you're crazy." He didn't say that. But he's like, "Oh my God, you're trying to rape me for app key." And it's like, well, but I understand what I have. And it doesn't matter that he's a 70 overall player that's 25. Like, he checks all the boxes for a user player. So, anyhow, that was one of the other big trades that, well, not really big, but other trades that I thought were interesting. And then the Juju trade, which I was going to try to pull up real quick. That was another big trade between the Colts and the Steelers that I thought was interesting. Anybody familiar with that trade?
So it hasn't gone through yet, I don't think, because I just tried to look it up and it.
Really?
Was that posted? Yeah.
It was posted a while ago.
I'm pretty sure it has. Daddy League might not be.
Are you on Daddy Leagues or are you on the console?
I'm on the console.
Then they haven't sent it. It's been approved.
Yeah, it's been approved.
I'm looking at trades right now, and I don't see any trades with Steelers and Colts. I'm looking at the Colts traded transactions.
I'm trying to get back there. Oh, it's a little ways back. Okay, so
he's there, 2 for 31 for the Colts in week 3.
Steelers trade Juju, left tackle Okafor to the Colts for Braden Smith and Michael Pittman. And so that was the trade. It's been approved. It just has not been processed, which is weird. So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe they got cold feet or something.
No, I'm looking at the roster right now. Juju's on the roster.
On the Colts?
That's crazy. It must be. It's another EA thing, fellas.
It must be.
We're used to it by now.
Yeah, right.
We got linemen. We got receivers lined up as linemen, and
yeah. So we got Michael Pittman, who's got hidden dev. I'm assuming somebody probably knows what he is. Is he superstar, or something like that?
I think he's a star.
A star. But
he's
Pittman,
nasty.
Isn't he huge too, Mikey?
Yeah, he's big. It's
like
6'5".
I was gonna say 6'5". Is he 90 speed?
No, he's slow in the game. He's a lot faster in real life, which is kind of upset about. I would have picked the Colts if he was a little bit better. But
6'4", 88 speed, 89 XL.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not bad for a big boy receiver. But I mean, he's good though. Last year when we did the reboot and I was the Colts, he was kind of like Knox, low overall, but he would just catch it and hold on to everything. He was kind of like that on the reboot. I don't know how he is in this game, but he's a big body.
Yeah, I thought that was another interesting
and then Braden Smith.
big trade.
Smith is good too.
Is he?
He's young. Yeah.
Yeah, it says he's a 82 overall star. So, I mean, it seems like a trade that benefits both. I don't know what Juju looks like this year. I imagine they probably knocked him down a little bit. Is he even an X factor this year? I think they probably should have taken him away.
No, he's a regular.
Yeah. Oh, he's a star.
He's
He's just a star, yeah.
20. I mean, he's a star. He's 23 years old at 87 overall. I mean,
he's solid.
He's definitely solid.
And then I think Okafor is a decent replacement probably for Braden. I mean, I remember in previous years, Okafor was kind of like a middling left tackle, somebody you could pick up in free agency that was, a hole filler for a year or whatever.
It's a very low overall right tackle.
Yeah. So outside of that, I think we probably spent quite a bit of time on these trades, so we probably should move along. Making notes here. So upsets. This is this is kind of a surprise. I think we can go back and look at a few of the upsets. I think we know who we're talking about here. Greg, you want to pick this up? Who are we talking about?
The first one that comes to mind for me is Manny losing to the Bucks right away.
Right.
That's my big upset.
That was a huge surprise, right?
Yeah, nobody expected it.
Yeah, right now, as it sits, Manny's 1-2. He's like the lowly Washington nobodies right now.
Oof.
That's a rough place to be.
He'll get his shit together. He always does.
You assume he's got to. I'm stunned right now. 29-35. He's playing close games. Even the win he had against the Raiders, against Joe Steck, that was a 4-point win, so it was close. He's fighting. But, yeah, I would say that's a huge surprise. What about you, Slick?
Yeah, it's surprising. But also he's working around his corner specifically. So he's just adjusting. But he's getting back on O. He's just got to figure some things out on defense. And
he got to figure something out on offense because he threw 5 interceptions with Drew Brees in the game against the Raiders. Or no, the Packers,
Yeah.
He just played Ip Man, Danny.
Ip Man.
That is rough.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah, I would want to know if he's part of the reason why he might be struggling is due to the fact that he went from Watson, who could scramble a little bit, to Breeze.
That could be.
Yeah.
Well, I'm also looking at his receivers, and they are all slow. Except maybe Deontay Harris, but everyone else is slow.
Yeah,
Michael Thomas with his ability. If Michael Thomas is doable because he has the ability, but everybody else it's 88 speed, 89 speed, 87.
What's Michael
speed.
Thomas's ability?
Well, he's an X factor.
Right.
Max security, wide receiver apprentice, and route technician.
Quicker cuts, baby.
But yeah, no matter how quick your cuts are, because of the way this damn game is programmed, it's like, I made a super quick cut, but now that 93 speed DB just, did a 360 and he caught up and knocked it out. That's the problem with these guys.
Guys, we got Bucks chiming in here saying we give Manny all the excuses.
Well, Manny's got a long-standing reputation, so he earns these excuses. But yeah, looking at these stats in this Packer game, he completed 11 passes, and then 5 to the other team. So
he's not playing good right now, but you gotta know he'll figure it out.
He'll figure it out. But this has got to be easily the biggest upset in the league.
By far.
Yeah, easily by far.
Because he lost to Danny, which kind of would lead us into one of the other upsets, right?
Right.
But Danny, I remember last year Danny had a game where he lost like 9-6 or something to Manny. So he's always kind of played him tough.
Yeah. One of the other upsets that I saw was Johnny. The original Johnny, JP, lost to Frank. So Johnny's the card.
Week 1, right?
Yeah. And so he came out and lost to Frank B 17-20, which was a surprise. Once again, you have somebody that, always plays really well. It was a close game and not knocking Frank B, but, I think everybody on the pod would be like, oh, that's a game that JP wins. and then especially come out and stomp me the second week. I mean, so he was clearly pissed that he lost the first week. But he went 120 yards, 2 interceptions that first week. Almost had 100 yards running. Kenyon Drake runs really well. He ran all over me with him, but just didn't seem to have it together. So I think that was a surprise. What else we got for upsets?
I got Bucks beating your Super Bowl champs last season. Johnny Sins and the Broncos.
Oh, that's right. That was another big game.
And it wasn't close.
And it wasn't close. The Bucks is over there just like, oh.
He's feeling it right now.
Oh man, I mean he's averaging probably somewhere like 35 points a game right now. He's dominating.
It's massive. It's massive.
But yeah, that 42-17 game, that was a surprise. I mean, Johnny Sins going down. Brady 258 yards, 3 TDs. Jesus, Ronald Jones 137 yards, 2 TDs.
JP said, I'm playing like food. I need more KKs on my schedule.
I need more KKs on my schedule.
I just read that. I couldn't hold it, man.
Oh man, yeah, he had my number, dude. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, you know what? Maybe that's just the way it's gonna go. Is we're just gonna match up when we play, and one of us is gonna get dominated. That's all I can say.
Yeah. JP should have low key just created the highlight app or the highlight group and just posted the stream of your entire game. Like, he should have done that.
I think he was just being nice, because if you notice, once he did the highlights, he actually didn't include anything from that game, and I feel like he was just doing me a solid, being like, you know what, KK, I'm just gonna let you know I could post 9 different highlights from our game, but I'm not gonna do it because that would be too easy. I'll give him that. So Johnny, I give you respect for not dragging me through the mud there, but good job dragging TBK through the mud. I appreciate that. That's good. So, is there anything else that kind of reaches the upsets, or maybe just a surprise? Like, I mean, I don't want to take
Joe beating the crap out of Coach.
The Raiders stomping Coach.
Yeah, 48-14. That's massive.
Oof! Yikes! Yeah, that's a surprise for sure.
Coach needs to lay down the needle, man. The needle.
Ooh.
It's affecting his game.
Maybe. The juice will make the jewels shrivel up into sun-dried tomatoes. I felt like there was one other. Oh, I was just going to touch on the fact the Bucks. I mean, coming out of the gate, I think we would say that's kind of a surprise, and it's not to take anything away from UWG, the greatness. Like, he had a really good last 2 seasons in the reboot, so maybe something's clicking for him. The game's slowing down, and he's got it figured out, because it's clearly showing here that he's doing really well. So I would say that's probably a surprise. What about you guys? Any others that are surprising?
The only thing I would say probably is there's going to be a patch on the 10th. So it's going to be interesting to see how people start playing, because apparently some of the things in the patch, our defense might play a little bit different. So.
Oh, really? What have you heard?
Just different, the way zones are being played, man. That's just a rumor.
I'll definitely agree with that. Like, I was in practice mode, and it looks to me like match coverage doesn't even work. Has anybody experienced that?
Mm-mm.
Doesn't seem like it.
It doesn't seem like it works, or I haven't seen it.
No, that's not. Defense is pretty much. I feel the defense is, there is none. Like, you can do whatever you want, basically.
Well, I agree with that, but like, have you noticed like that match coverage doesn't seem to match, or have you seen it matching?
I honestly haven't had much experience. I ran it twice and got burned and never went back to it again.
Okay.
So I don't have a lot of practice for that.
There you go. Okay, yeah. Cover 3 match seam flats do not match. I mean, at least they don't match crossers at all. And like, there's cover 6, cover 9, all those different various coverages. I feel like they're not doing what they did last year. So I hope that they fix that, because that's a huge problem. Looks to me like drop coverage is, if you're going to play zone, that's the only way to play it, is play drop.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I guess that answers that.
Yeah.
Thanks for contributing, Slick. I appreciate the commentary. That was good. Greg,
I don't know.
Don't hurt yourself over there, Greg.
I don't know.
I don't know. The number of times people say I don't know is too damn high. So, since we need to wake Greg up, I think it's time that we talk about the power rankings.
The big moment, huh? I don't think I need all that spotlight shit.
You saving yourself for this? Is that what's going on?
Let's get into power rankings. Yeah, I'm saving myself a little bit. I'm going to do the majority of the talking here. Okay, so I've got top 10 power rankings in the league currently. A few of them are in flux, with the
it's early
and whatnot. But number 10, I've got 49ers, who is Frank.
Frank B.
He's 3-1. I know he took a sim win, but he also beat Johnny. And then his only loss is a quality loss to TBK. So he's 3-1. Not too bad.
It's not quality. I beat TBK. That's not quality.
Hey. Chime in a minute.
Okay, sorry.
At 9, I've got Jags, who's boss man. He is also 3-1. He just beat Jern. Otherwise, Jern would be here.
Whew.
And his only loss was a close loss to Slick, which is a quality loss.
Yeah, that was a game.
That was a really good game.
At 8, I've got Johnny Park, JP, 2-1. Nothing crazy. He's just a really good, solid player, and his only loss is to you, KK.
No, his only loss?
Yeah, he's 2-1 right now.
Did you?
No, he whooped KK.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Bro, get some coffee or something.
No, he
Some water in your face.
He lost to Frank B.
We just talked about how
and you know what?
JP demolished him in their game right now.
And
I typoed the crap out of that. There we go.
And the Panthers need a new running back. That's all I know.
At 7, I've got the Eagles, which is TBK.
Bullshit.
He beat. This is the one where I had him. Sorry, this is where the typo was at. He beat German 49ers, and both of those guys were undefeated at the time. And his only loss was to KK.
It's a quality loss.
And you could say, first game of the season, due to COVID, there was no preseason games, so maybe he was a little bit rusty.
At 6, I've got Johnny Sins. He's 3-1. His wins are all blowout wins, and his only loss was to UWG, who's undefeated and whooping everybody's ass right now. So that's your first few. What do you guys think about them? Where would you have each of these guys ranked?
Well, give me the rankings one more time. So.
Okay.
10 to 5.
10,
yeah.
10 to 6 is where I went.
Yeah, 10 to 6.
10 was 49ers.
Okay.
9 was Jags. 8 was Cardinals. 7 Eagles. And 6 Broncos.
One more time, Greg. 10 was who?
49ers.
Okay.
Jags.
Hold on.
Cards.
Go slow.
Go slow. Are you like crippled or what? Can't write? Got one hand?
Jags.
Cards. Eagles.
Okay.
Broncos. So we know who was good in school. All right, good to go.
You're right.
I'm
Slick.
sending it to the chat.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Slick, what do you think?
I mean, you got to give him respect because of the records. 49ers, good team, and he's making it work with them.
He was hype. He 49ers was hype. He DM'd me. We were talking about trades and we were talking about certain things, and he's like, "I'm excited for this league. Last year I was kind of slacking. I didn't take it really serious, so I'm looking forward to this year." So we'll see. He's got a top 10 spot on the first power rankings, so let's see if he can keep it up.
I'd probably put Jags a little higher. I'll probably switch him in Eagles. But other than that, it's fine.
Okay,
Mikey?
you're quiet now.
Oh, okay. If I were looking at it, I was trying to look through some of these records and see who they played, but off the top of my head, I'm gonna say TBK is like number 11 because he's my bitch. So he's not even in the power rankings. That's the only change I would make.
Who would you throw in there?
No, I don't know. I honestly,
He said agreed.
I would say the Jags probably deserve to be in the Eagles spot. Eagles should be 9. That would be my only change. I think the Broncos have only lost one game. JP, obviously I know JP's talented. He stomped me. He played Wisdom with the Lions, who's a terrible team. So, like, 2 of his wins are, against questionable teams. So, I know he's better than that, but I'm not going to say he's not a 7. That's the only change I would make. I would just swap Eagles and Jags. That's what I would do.
So, with Jags, here's how I feel with Jags, right? Because we're doing a power rankings based on this season so far, like, you can't argue. I mean, it's whatever. Like, maybe he can move up a couple spots, maybe he falls a couple spots, whatever. But from seeing him play, first of all, he's using the Jags. They got a solid defense, but they're a young team. They're not a stacked roster. He, of his 4 games, Dar made the playoffs a couple times maybe, but 3 out of his team that he played Abomish, he played Slick, and he played Jern. All playoff teams. He beat Abomish, he lost to Slick by 3, and he beat Jern. So it's all close games. So to me, like, I feel like this guy, once he rebuilds his team a little bit, his overall gets a little bit better. I can see him being a top 5 user in the league.
Dario?
No, Jags.
Oh, man.
Bro, Greg, please get
Dario.
some water, get some whiskey, get something, bro. You are here, but you are not here at all. Dario's not even in the top 20, the top 29.
Wow.
Let alone the top 10.
Savaged. Dar doesn't deserve that. That's rude.
Bro, I feel like it takes a lot to get Slick to get that hype right now, and that just happened. So congratulations, Greg.
All right, 1 through 5. What we got?
Here we go. We're starting at number 5.
Yeah.
We're going to go with Danny with the Packers.
Woo, my boy Danny.
I think it's the highest I've ever had him on any kind of list. 3-0. He had a bonehead first win. We all know about it. We're gonna leave it at that. And he beat Manny, which is a quality win, even if Manny's on the downside right now. So yeah, he's 3-0. He's got a game. He's got a game this week. He's got to get in. But if he can go 4-0, be fantastic. Number 4, I have one of ours in the chat here. I've got Chiefs, which is Mikey. He's 4-0.
That's a first.
He hasn't played anybody great, but he's still 4-0, and 4-0's got to count for something, because at some point the power rankings are about your record.
For sure.
Number 3, I've got Seahawks. Jabbar,
hold on. Can we pause and just? That's all you had to say.
We'll discuss it all after I'm done with 1. We can discuss it all after.
No, go ahead.
3 is Seahawks, which is Jabbar, so I'm giving Jabbar some love. He's 3-0. Tons of offensive firepower. He also hasn't had a game decided by less than 2 possessions. He's beaten everybody by 2 possessions or more. Number 2, I've got Dolphins. Another one of us.
Slick,
3-0. He's had nothing super impressive besides maybe the Jags, but he's always good. He's always at the top. He's always making the playoffs, and that's why I've got him at 2. And number 1 right now, I've got the Bucks, who's UWG. He's 4-0. His impressive wins are Broncos, who was last year's Super Bowl champions, and Manny, who is always a Super Bowl contender. And side note, I see him going 8-0 until he gets a rematch with Manny, and there he could lose his first game. So I see the Bucs going 8-0 before he's even contested again.
Oof.
So go for it. Pick it apart. Pick out 5-1.
Well, I think Mikey has something to say right now.
Oh yeah, he definitely did.
No. Because the fact that here's facts. I have not played a single body. Okay, because I played the Chargers. Who's that?
Who's that? I don't know. Elstein? Is that right?
Yeah. Okay. So I have not yet to play a single soul. So I played the Chargers.
Oh.
I played Coach. He was probably drinking and smoking in the middle of our game.
Yeah, didn't he say he's like high 22 hours out of the day or some shit?
We were on the mic when we were playing, and the whole time he's like, "Yeah, I got to leave here soon to go pick up my weed."
Yeah.
The whole time, that's all he could think about. He was like, "Should I run I form? Should I run weed form?" Like his words were all, twisted. So, yeah, but actually he played me pretty tough. Every time we play, like we're on the mic, and I feel like he tries when he plays me. His corners gave me trouble. He had, it was 27-14, or no, it was 27-10 or something, and he had a play where he ran with Cam Newton, and I blasted him. Cam fumbles, the ball flies in the air, and his lineman or his tight end picks it up for a touchdown, which kind of kept him in the game. But anyway, so I was just, to be honest, I'll be fair, I don't think I deserve 4 or 5, Greg? 4. I would say let me get a quality win before I get a 4 if I was grading myself. But yeah, so that's kind of how I feel. Like if I'm looking at 10 through 8, I feel like Jags with his one loss to Slick, I would, even though I'm 4-0, I would put Jags because he has quality wins as opposed to me. Yeah, I'm 4-0, records matter, but it's not like I'm 8-0 with a bunch of easy wins. If I was 8-0 without a quality win, I could see it, as opposed to just 4. So that's it. Kind of being humble.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Humble pie there.
That's all right. Got one of the best teams in the game. Don't worry about it. No big deal.
But with Slick, I will say this though. I've watched all of Slick's games so far. Him playing with the rookie QB and with the Dolphins and having quality wins, like that's pretty legit. As opposed to the Bucs, yes, the Bucs had 2 big time wins, and I got mad respect for the Bucs because I played against them. But he's playing with a stacked team. You're talking about a Gronk who, in real life, is maybe going to get 3 touchdowns this year, and he's a 95, 92 or something like.
Yeah, that's kind of a joke.
He's okay
his team has got speed everywhere, receivers, weapons, Tom Brady. He's got X factors, and his team is pretty stacked. And then you look at Slick, who's played quality guys as well, playing with the rookie QB, the Dolphins. So it's kind of like I could see you putting Slick ahead of the Bucs, but I can't argue with the list. It's pretty decent.
Slick, what do you think?
Let me look at the list again. IP, Mikey, Seahawks. I mean, he's had. I'm not against Bucs being number 1, just because he's beat 2 top guys, 2 quality wins, and my schedule isn't. My beginning 3 hasn't been that tough. I had Coach, I had Bills, who's actually 3-1, so yeah, you can consider that quality win. And then I had Jags, but then I got some tougher games coming up, so we'll see how that goes. I probably would switch Jags and Mikey. Agree with him there. 2 or 3 is probably where I'm at because I'm winning game, but I'm not doing anything special. Like I'm just doing enough to get by.
Yeah, I'll be the one to say I think you nailed the top 5 there, Greg. I don't see anything wrong with that list. I think that's right where it needs to be. I just agree with you. And it's crazy, and it's actually kind of exciting that, here we are and we're talking about some different people in this top 10 than we've ever really talked about before. So that's exciting for me. I like to see other people have success as well. I know the top players will figure this game out and they'll be fine. So I just think it's exciting right now that we have an interesting top 10. So good job.
It's actually the first top 10 I haven't included myself in, which feels
I was really surprised you
Did
didn't.
you hear that? I didn't put myself in there.
You actually didn't, yeah. I mean,
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Oh, I did. Yeah. I was surprised.
I think he's still mad that he almost lost today. So
I am. Fucking.
He is the only person I know that gets upset when he's winning. Like,
Dude.
like.
Oh my God, these guys are dropping everything. I can't figure
quit.
this game
You can
out.
have the force win up 20
Madden
points.
sucks.
I'm on chew clock.
I'm like rushing to go pull up the stream real quick. Like, oh my God, what's going on? Greg up by 13. Like, really, dude?
I'm not playing this game no more. You can have the force win. I quit.
The game against Nick today was the worst thing I've ever played in my life. It was terrible. Every play, a wide receiver was stacked on the offensive line, and an offensive lineman was out, you know, on his hindquarters, acting like a lineman. Only he's out where a wide receiver is lined up. It baffled me. It blew my mind. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
I
it's
had
a mess.
streaks
Weird that
being
that's
run up
happened in
the
2
middle of
games
the
with
field.
Nick. Like, what is Nick doing? Like,
Yeah, I was like having some fun with KK. I'm like, yeah, this happened with you and KK and me and Nick and you and Nick. Maybe Nick's doing something.
Yeah, he's game sharking us.
God, game shark.
Oh man! All right, so that'll round out the power rankings, and then we thought it'd be interesting to kind of put together a few rivalries. So this is a little tough to do because obviously we don't have the feedback from other players. So I kind of ran through each division and picked out who I thought were rivals, given kind of the standings and how it goes. I would say right now the Bills and the Dolphins have to be the big rivals there in that division. Slick, you've already played the Bills once?
yeah, week 2.
Yeah, and he was a little butthurt after that, I think. That's the information I got.
He was just frustrated. He wasn't playing well.
Right, so I think that's going to motivate Willie to try to come at you next time and be ready to play you again. So I think as of how the conference sits right now, or the division sits right now, I think you two are easily the main rivals in that one. Going into Mikey's division, you know, I realize there's some family tension that exists there, so I'll let Mikey speak to that, but I think the real rivals in that one would be the Chiefs and the Broncos, because Johnny Sins, I think, is the favorite there, but obviously Mikey's doing everything right now. So, and you guys haven't faced off yet, right, Mikey?
No, we haven't. We play in about 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
That Chiefs is God's team. Like, the way Mahomes is set up and the way Tyreek Hill is set up, that's perfect.
You get him week 7 and week 13, so that'll be interesting. I'll be anxious to see how that kind of works out, but I think those are the real rivals there. But I think, Mikey, you have something to say about that, don't you?
I mean, I like, you know how it is with family, right? You gotta love them. You gotta be nice to them. The ones that are not as well off, you gotta be humble and, be their, support, moral support, and things like that. So, he boasted after the prediction, after Greg's prediction, and he predicted, I believe, Greg, you predicted 4-12, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 4-12 for the Chargers, and I felt bad, seeing my brother-in-law, like, man, his people in the league talking about him, gonna go 4-12, and he was hyped, and he said he was gonna get me this time, and he was just over my house, and we played, and I said, hey, let's play, let's do a head-to-head. You grab the Chargers, I'll grab the Chiefs, and I beat him 45-15 or something like that. And I was like, all right, I'm used to this. But he actually he played me kind of tough. We had a pretty crazy ending. I kind of let him score just so he can feel a little bit better about himself, knowing 2-point conversion. He needs a 2-point conversion.
I let him score.
I let him score. You know how it is.
You realize how much that's going to piss him off right now.
It's not because I'm just talking to you guys. You're probably not even going to hear this, so I'm not worried.
He's watching.
I feel bad. I feel
he said
bad.
unbelievable.
So he probably won't even hear this, so I'm not worried. But I had to let him score because otherwise, you know how he is. He gets mad, he gets flustered, and then he goes on the following weeks and lays another egg. But anyways, I would love, like, so I'm with you, KK. It's me and the Broncos. I would love it for it to be me and Chargers, but he's just not there. He doesn't have what it takes to create a rivalry with a top 5 power ranking user in the league. I mean, I'm sorry.
He's gonna light dog shit and put it in
So basically, what you're saying is some people are built.
There are men, and there are boys. You know what I mean? Boys collect number 1 picks. Boys
collect number 1 picks.
Collect number 1s. Men collect W's. That's it. I'll leave it at that. I've been talking to
men collect W's. Wow.
To the Chargers' credit, 2 of his 3 losses were single-digit losses, 1 possession losses. So.
Whew, that's a lot.
Some close games.
That's a lot to take in right there. So, going over to the Steelers and the Bengals. This is what I think the 2 rivals are, and that's how they sit. We got, gosh, I never know what to call this guy. IJ, whatever. Murray. Murray, that's right.
Just call him the Steelers fan.
Yeah.
That's about all I know about him.
I always reference his Discord name. So, yeah, you're right, though, Greg. It's Murray. Murray and Jern. Those are the 2 that I kind of picked as division rivals there. But Jern, he just took a loss to who?
Jags.
And TBK. Back-to-backs.
So Jern having some tough times right now, which is a surprise. I think
you're leaving Nick out too.
Well, I did leave Nick out, but like he came in, had to take over the Browns team, and he'd already had a forced loss, and then I think a second forced loss. Didn't he take 2 forced losses?
No.
There's no way. He played his last 2 games. We're in week 3, right?
He lost.
Week 4.
He lost to Jern. He beat you.
Yeah. And then just lost to you, Greg. Okay, I didn't know if he had played Jern or not. But yeah, so he took 2 losses and then beat me and then just lost there. So I feel like Nick, I think he's going to compete next season, and he might continue to compete here. But I just kind of felt like Jern, with his reputation, and Nick has taken some time off, so I didn't really know what to expect. So that's why I figured Murray and Jern would be the rivals there.
I think if the rumors of, I think someone said that there's a rumor of Nick tanking maybe.
I mean, he traded Baker Mayfield out. So
I shouldn't say tanking. I should say rebuilding. Right. That's
right.
The term. I feel like this game with Greg was one of those games. Like, if I win, I'm going for it. If I lose, I feel like he might lose some of the motivation. 1-3. You got Jern. And if he wins another game, like, you know what I mean. So it was a pretty big game against Greg, I think.
It was close too. 28-31, came down to a drop pick 6 or something. Is that what I heard?
Yeah. The drop pick 6 sent it in overtime.
Oh, is that what it was?
Fucking 60-yard field goal nearly to win the game.
But yeah, I mean, he's in a hole right now. I mean, 1-3, but Steelers are 3-1. So you never know. I mean, it's anybody's game right now. So we'll see. But moving to the South, we got the Jags and the Colts, Mr. Bossman and A-Bomb. Those are the 2 guys that I kind of picked that would be battling it out and probably be rivals going forward.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Jumping over to the NFC East, we got the Cowboys and the Eagles, which is obviously Greg and TBK. I didn't pick I would like to say I'm going to be a rival with Greg because we've known each other forever, and I want to beat him, and I know he wants to stomp me, but, TBK is 3-1 right now, so clearly they're the ones in the running. but I hope to straighten things out as we go forward. So,
KK, are you the Chargers of this division?
whoa, easy, Tiger, easy, Tiger. My team did not start out super stacked, because if you recall last year when I was the Chargers, I won the division every year I was in it. Unlike other people who get a stacked team and then just decide, we're not going to compete. So, we'll see. Check in with me in 3 weeks. I'll let you know where we're at. Then we head over to the NFC West. I got the Hawks and the Niners as division rivals. And obviously Jabbar's doing well, and so is Frank B. I think those are the two that are going to compete for this division winner.
You don't like the Cardinals? You don't think JP is going to compete?
Yeah, I'm surprised you just said that.
That is a good question. I wonder why I did decide that. This is what I'd written down. And I guess it's just based off of their records. I mean, JP's 2-1, but the Niners are 3-1. So I guess you're right. Really, it should probably be Jabbar. But, Frank's been playing well, so I got to give him credit for it. So I'll stick with it.
Yeah.
And then you go to the north. You got the Packers and the Bears. We got Danny. And then Bears is, I believe, I know you see it. Is that right?
Yeah.
My old division rival. I think those two guys are going to compete for that spot. No questions asked. And then to round it out.
Baked Buns will eventually get there.
Oh yeah. What's Baked Buns' record right now?
I think he's 1-3.
1-3.
Yeah, I think to win the division at 13-3 or something like that. I think he's just having a rough go of it.
He's got to roll off the rest of the wins. Yeah. And then finishing it out, we got the South, and that's of course UWG, the greatness with the Bucks, and then Manny.
Biggest rival.
Yeah, I think that's easily. They had already established the fact that they were going to be rivals in chat once the Bucks beat the Saints. I mean, at that point, he's like, "You're mine." So that I think will be exciting to watch.
He said earlier when they were going at it, back to the Aints. Or something.
Back to the Aints. That's exactly right.
Dude, he's gonna be 8-0, I think, when he plays Manny again. I don't think he'll lose. Look at his schedule. Look at his next 4 games.
Buck says, I haven't earned the right to call it a rivalry yet, which is interesting.
I mean, definitely interesting.
I wonder if he meant to say he hasn't earned the right.
I don't know. He's been talking cocky for the past week, and then now he wants to be humble. So
that's what I was wondering. Maybe he's worried he's lighting a fire under Manny or something. But you know what? One last thing that I think round out the podcast. I think we're going about an hour now. Is let's do a quick talk about the Pick'ems games that we have coming up. Let's see. Do we want to do? We probably can't do this week, right? We'd have to do the following week.
Right.
So
no, we can do a little recap of week 5. I mean, I don't think all the games have been played. No, we're in week 4. Sorry.
So week 4. Oh wait, I got to scroll up here.
Week 4, I believe, was the big week.
We have in week 4, you got the Seahawks-Dolphins game. Has that happened?
No, that's going to happen tonight.
Jags-Bengals.
I'd say it most likely will happen.
I think that just happened, right?
That one's over, yeah. Jags won that.
Browns-Cowboys.
That one's over.
Steelers-Titans.
Steelers-Titans, I feel like happened already.
I think that happened too, yeah, it did.
You did it? Okay, and then Chargers-Bucks.
Yes, that happened. I watched twice. It happened twice. 2 beatdowns. Both games combined was 70-something to 7 or something.
Colts-Bears.
That one hasn't happened yet. That's the only one.
Yeah. But so really, there's only a couple games that haven't been played in week 4. Seahawks-Dolphins though. So you're possibly playing Jabbar tonight. Is that the deal?
Yeah, I DM'd him Just waiting for a response.
So he's ducking you.
Nah. He hit me up earlier in the day. I was busy. And
we could try to commentate this game.
late.
We should commentate this game.
We should maybe try to roll Twitch out a little bit here.
I know. I mean, it might take a minute. We should try to figure that out. But yeah, that'll be an interesting game because Jabbar's playing really, really well, and sounds like Slick. You're like kind of on the fence. You're like, I'm just doing enough to win. So this could,
yeah.
Dude,
this
Russell
could be
Wilson,
tough.
DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are insane. I couldn't stop them. Well, I mean, I could, but not as well as I wanted to.
No, yeah, they're good. I had them in the reboot league, so they're really good.
And then the other game that really hadn't been played was the Colts and the Bears, which that'll be an interesting game. I wonder when that one's getting played because that's A-Bomb, and I know you see it. Both of them had really good success in the reboot, so I'm going to tag those guys and see when that game gets done. Because I think that's another one. Greg, what do you think? Who do you think is going to come out of that one?
Which game?
Colts Bears.
I think the Colts will win that game.
You think?
I think Obama shall win it.
Mikey?
I'm gonna go. Man, that's a tough one because Bears is he's so hit or miss. I was talking to Chargers about it earlier. You never know what you're gonna expect. He'll either have a really good season or he'll have a bad season.
Well, I would say he has never had a bad season.
A bad season, I mean, like mediocre, like
He just makes the playoffs with a wild card. Like I agree, he's a weird player because it's like he'll go 0-3 or 0-4 to start and then rattle off a bunch of wins.
I mean, he's got wins against the Lions and the Giants, but he lost to the Falcons, and the Falcons is 1-3, I believe.
And that's exactly it. Like you count him out,
Falcons.
and then suddenly that dude is like, "Oh, I'm in this. I'm still here."
And then Colts. I mean, he beat Jets, he beat Vikings, and his only loss was to the Jags, which I have big respect for. So I think the easy answer is the Colts for sure.
Yeah.
And they're playing tonight too. So
That's what he just said. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Slick? What do you see happening here?
No, I got A-Bomb winning that one.
Well, I'll say that A-Bomb and I go way back, but I got to go with my boy. I know you see it. I played that man, and that guy knows how to play this game. So I think he's going to take him down. So suck it, Colts.
Suck it.
So good. So all right, I think that wraps up the podcast for tonight. I think we're still gonna go ahead and podcast again Tuesday or Wednesday. We're gonna keep this 1 week thing going. So don't forget, JP's still doing highlights. I want to say thanks to JP for making himself available to do that. I thought that was pretty awesome.
Highlights are amazing.
Yeah, they're really good.
So keep it up. Send that guy your timestamps. That's going to make his job a little bit easier. He doesn't want to have to watch your games and archive and try to pick stuff out. So make sure if you're on Twitch or if you're on YouTube that you archive your streams. You have to usually set it up on the CPU that way. But, if you have a play that you think should be top 5, submit it to him in DM. Say, here's where it's at, and let's get that going because I think that's a really awesome feature. Also want to say thanks to Jern for setting up the spreadsheet for fantasy football. I think that is amazing because that is so much work to try to do.
Yeah. Definitely saves a lot of time. Thanks, Jern.
No doubt. And thanks to you guys for giving your time and being available for the podcast. So great job tonight, guys, and we'll catch you later.
All right, take it easy, guys.
Peace, guys.